Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, this is Sarah. Welcome to CxO TV, where innovation meets ideas for growth via our knowledge sharing platform, CxO Global Forum. Joining us today, Mahmood Siddique, Chief Information Officer at Pakistan Stock Exchange. कैसे हैं सिद्दीकी साहब आप?
Thank you. My name is Siddique, Mahmood Siddique. I'm
सिद्दीक
fine.
साहब, थैंक यू वेरी मच आपने टाइम निकाला एंड बी अ पार्ट ऑफ आवर शो टुडे. सबसे पहले हमें बताइए about your personal journey, how you started, what was the motivation behind it, how you come to this position. थोड़ा सा हमारे व्यूअर्स के साथ शेयर कीजिएगा.
See, my whole life story has been right time, right place. जब मैं 18 का हुआ when entering the university, that was the first year when NED में computer engineering introduced हुई थी back in 1984. Then the next year, FAST पाकिस्तान का पहला FAST computer institute भी शायद ने बनाया था, तो I entered that, got the computer science degree. I always wanted to get into computers. उस ज़माने में my elder brother had brought me a computer on those Commodore back in the early 80s, so it was my passion. Then luckily computer science कर लिया, went abroad, did a master's. Uh, that got me into in the early 90s into my straightaway management positions. So that was a
Right,
big break. And within 10 years, I was the CIO of the central bank, probably the youngest ever CIO of a central bank in
right.
the world at the very early age of 34. So it's been a long journey. After that, it's been 21 years since a CIO in five different banks and now at Stock Exchange. But very fulfilling. I'll thank Allah का बड़ा बड़ा शुक्र, बहुत एहसान है, शुक्र है. And I got all the things that I actually wanted. It's not a job point of view, so, but more like what your passion is, and you get to do the same.
Right, right. So you mentioned that you always wanted to go to computer side and
Yeah.
you succeeded in that. And mashallah, you're having a CIO position, so that's wonderful. So, stock exchange, working in stock exchange environment and the banking. So, what is the difference?
Well, it is the financial sectors. किसी हद तक बैंकिंग में almost 25 years मैंने काम किया, तो उसमें एक पार्ट ट्रेजरी में स्टॉक्स का और इसका गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज फंड्स का होता था.
Right.
स्टॉक इज वेरी एक्सक्लूसिवली स्टॉक एक्सचेंज में जिस पे कैपिटल मार्केट्स उसका है. बट यहाँ unlike other banks here, the technology is cutting edge where every second millisecond counts. If you there's a lag of 1 second, brokers or investors say they can lose millions because of a fluctuation in price change. Unlike
True.
any other application where a few seconds or minutes or slowness is not so. So here it's very challenging. You have to be at the cutting edge of technology because you want to reduce the times performance, and the uptime has to be 100%, not
Yeah.
99.99, but here even once a
One
year kind of a
one
small
one
incident.
point 99.
Yeah.
So
So
down times तो आते ही रहते हैं. So how do you cater those times? तो आपका तो real time में काम होगा.
all real time we have to have alternate. I mean, this is where you always have multiple options and backups, and you cannot have any single point of failure. So
Mhm.
if something happens and goes down, but the high availability, the failover takes over, and actual physical downtime is very rare. Especially trading में तो जो main trading और उसका है उसमें तो it's zero downtime for the last at least 4 or 5 years I've been here. But
Wow.
overall, it's like once in a few years, whatever. अगर कोई खुदा न खास्ता ऐसा आ जाए. Um, so, but yeah, you have to invest in technology. You have to have multiple backups for everything.
Right, right, right. So tell our viewers about the contribution of Chief Information Officer in Pakistan Stock Exchange.
Pakistan Stock Exchange, I joined in 2017, and the first challenge was the technology, both the infrastructure, IT infrastructure, as well as the applications were all 20 years old, and they had
Hmm.
were way past their expect life expectancy and should have been changed a few years back. But कुछ initiatives starting planning stage पे थे. My job was to execute them. The first thing
Mm.
was a new data center, a tier 3 design data center. उसमें switching की, and alhamdulillah हमने early 2018 से जब से किया, there's zero downtime because of first the
Right,
data center. Then we upgraded all the technology, especially the network, which was very old. Cisco का 10 साल पुराना equipment सारा था, so that improved a lot. And now we are in the middle of changing the whole application. We are implementing state of the art trading system, which is from Shenzhen Chinese system. And
right,
Shenzhen Stock Exchange is the second or third largest after New York Stock Exchange. They are in the top three stock exchanges, and they compete with systems like Nasdaq, systems like Euronext. So they compete with those kind of systems, and their volume, size, everything is in that. We are
right,
implementing the same system here.
right. So, in your opinion, how digital transformation in all areas of business is important? Why it's need of the hour?
It's very important, or especially with this pandemic, COVID may, so it has expanded, it's speed up 10 times, I would say. Something that used to happen in about 10 years is now happened in the last 18 months when we had the pandemic. Everyone working from home to Zoom to every function of the organization, those who are not very computer related, everyone was forced to adapt the technology and come on to
Well,
digital. बिल्कुल. And then as you've seen countrywide भी, like financial sectors में RDA accounts वगैरह, account opening online, everything now digitized online होनी शुरू हो गई. जो पहले पहले it was more of an option, but this pandemic has forced people to do it as part of daily life rather than just another fancy option for select few.
right, right, wonderful. So, as you know, the digitization is taking place over time. So, how do you predict the future technology trends that can be beneficial?
A number of trends coming up. Financial sectors में खास तौर पे the data, the shift from where data actually makes money. Data is to be seen as not just as a commodity. It's something that you can sell, you make money out of it. So that's the biggest transformation towards handling the data and seeing it as a valuable commodity rather than just something on which you do MIS or for from secrecy point of view. That's the biggest one. But in general, it's a trend towards self-service. Automation things where people are able to do online everything themselves, whether it's financial sector, any other sector. So that's a big push towards that, where we make it the technology is what's behind, and it makes it very easy for people to do it everything themselves rather than giving it to some IT person to do.
Right. So, what are your tactics to manage the challenge that comes your way since you are in a very uh, responsible position? So,
So
how do you manage that?
traditionally, IT used to be managing the infrastructure, cost cutting, efficiency, automation. So, but that's now about 20% of a CIO's job. 80% is more on understanding the business, driving the business strategy. You have to uh, be contributing towards revenue growth, towards the growth of the company's business, and IT or the CIO is actually the driving force driving the strategy. We cannot imagine any company strategy where IT is not based on running something on IT. So instead of just somebody who delivers, it's now CIO's role these days is more towards being part of the strategy, being part of the team or the leading the team that drives that implementation of strategy.
Right. So, what strategies you develop to be competitive in the fast-growing and changing global marketplace? Of course, we are evolving with time and with technology. How
Yeah,
do you?
on one hand, you have to keep an eye on the upcoming technologies and how you will be implementing those. But from the business point of view, you need to be part of every business strategy. In stock exchange, for example, um, of the two parts of the business. One is the trading itself and implementing the new state of the art system. which can give us 100 to 1,000 times more volumes, and sky is the limit. We can take it to any limit, and very high efficient. But on the other side, getting new companies to list on the stock exchange, the listing process, which was all manual. Now we work over that long period, and now it's live, where we have a portal through which companies, investors can put all the documents, everything. So the process flow is automated. So one part from capturing the business, the other part uh, of executing the trades, then
True.
investors automation, which does not directly come at exchange, they do go through
Hmm.
the brokers, but even that has been facilitated, where now people can do online account opening for their trading, not just the banks. It's correct with the banks, but this is just one example of stock exchange. But in general,
Hmm.
in banking and everywhere, you have to look at the technologies and how that can be applied to the business side and do that. Upcoming crypto and the financial sectors or blockchain would be a big thing. It has to happen sooner or later here, and we have to adapt. So that's something that anyone in any CIO or any IT person in financial sector has to be looking at it.
True. So, what's your take on cybersecurity? Since you are in that position, it must be coming under your department or your area. So,
Traditionally, no, although CISO has to be an independent person from CIO, but yeah, the buck stops at the CIO's desk. Anything that has
true.
happened on the security side, IT has to deliver on that, and CIO has to be very up to date on these. But
Hmm.
generally, there's a segregation of duty between CISO and
Right.
CIO. However, the last few months have been pretty risky and bad for Pakistan's different
Exactly.
high-profile environments, from some banks to some FBI to all those. So the threats are now increasing manifold. It's not a linear thing. It's like exponentially the IT threats, and the management, the boards, all are now very focused on the security side and spending on IT security, which previously used to be a balance between risk and that. Now there's no sort of thresholds. Anything you need to do on security, you have to do it immediately. I don't think with the kind of a few incidents that have happened, any board, any CEOs now or CFOs are now reluctant to spend on the security side. So you can never be an expert for security. You have to get the
Right.
consultants, the top people in your organization, because the threats are changing so quickly. No matter
Exactly.
how your team good is, with the changing threat, you have to then get the specialists in to tackle that.
True, true, true. There's a new day attack and the zero day and all that. So one has to be, and I believe that authorities are working on that very seriously on that security side because the pandemic has told us many lessons.
Many lessons, so definitely. Initially, people working from home were just people were, especially some IT platforms, were not that secure, and they tended to open areas which traditionally you would not do, but because of the pandemic, there were some IT departments were forced to do that. Practically last March, some people were just given a day's notice to shift from home to that, but
Mm,
gradually we've all learned and very quickly implemented the whole stack of the security side.
exactly. So I'm surprised at what startups must be doing. Are they actually adopting the same levels of security side, cyber security side or not? Because they think that they are just the beginners, they are just starting up in businesses. So, what do you think that it's equally important for them also?
Sorry, I missed the first part of your question. Could you repeat?
That the startups and the beginners who are starting up their business, the startups in
Oh,
Pakistan.
they have to. They have to either. I mean, not everyone can hire all the security experts, but they have to get hold wherever they host the site, or some area which have addressed all the security issues. So they need to get that either vetted from some consultants to penetration testing and everything, or whole stack, or partner with a host who takes care of that part. But one wrong move, one bad press of your data leakage or downtime, it will take a year or more to just recoup to that level. So, has to be very important from
Exactly.
start, day one.
A great discussion with you, Mahmood Siddique Saab. Lastly, I would like to ask you what utility you see being a member of CxO Global Forum, how it has added value to your professional network.
Oh, it's an excellent initiative. Uh, Previously you used to go to seminars or some places to get in touch with your colleagues. It's especially in IT, it's a constant learning exercise. You Technologies change so fast, you have to be on the learning side, and that can only happen if you share your experiences, be bold to ask for help, ask for people of how they are doing. So the forum brings together all the IT professionals. It's a big help, and especially on the social media and through the forum without having to physically go and have meetings on that. So definitely it's a huge help for the IT professionals, senior IT professionals. A forum where you can share ideas, learn, exchange information. A great initiative.
True. Thank you very much, Mahmood Siddique Saab, and for your valuable time. Inshallah, we'll call you for an hour at another show. And till then, Allah Hafiz and take care.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure. We
Thank
on CXO Forum. Thank you.